This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about object-oriented programming, and we have discussed what exactly object-oriented programming and what is the use, and how it is different from procedure-oriented or structured-oriented programming, and what exactly an object and what exactly a class. How can we differentiate these two? And what is the relation between a class and an object we have discussed in the previous session. Now, so today we'll see the various object-oriented programming principles which we used to follow upon writing the business logics. So while writing the business logics, by using this object-oriented programming, we have to follow certain standards. We have to follow certain principles. Those are called as object oriented programming features or principles or pillars. Then what are those principles that we have? Now let's see. As part of Apex programming, we have four basic principles are available. First one, encapsulation. Second one, abstraction. Third one, inheritance. And the fourth one, polymorphism. These are the four features are available. So what exactly this each feature, okay, we'll see one by one. Okay, now before going to that, let me give the note points of this. Okay, class and the object, we'll see. Now, Apex is a cloud-based object-oriented programming which purely the object-oriented principles. Object-oriented principles. Hence, in Apex programming, each business logic should be implemented in the form of classes and objects. Object oriented programming provides more security for the data or the code. That is, we can restrict the visibility of the business logics based on the need. Now, let's see. We'll see the concept of class. A class is nothing but a blueprint or a prototype or a logical entity which contains a collection of members inside it, which contains a collection of members inside it. Now, a class can have one or more variables, procedures, functions, properties, and constructors inside it. And classes are used to implement the custom business logics to be get referenced in the application development to perform the operations in the application. Hence, the classes are also called as controllers. Now, second one, object. Now, object. Once the class has been defined with the required members inside it, then we can access the class members with the help of an object. Object is nothing but an instance of a class. This is also called as a reference or a key or a physical entity which references to the class. By using object, we can access each class member and we can assign the value for the members and we can retrieve the values from the members. Now, a class can have one or more objects. Each object can hold a different set of values for the class members. Hence, the memory will be always reserved for the objects. Each object contains its own memory and its own amount of memory. Because objects purely supports Dynamic memory allocation. Done with this? Done with these points? Done with this? Next. Now let's see. Object-oriented programming principles. Now, let's see what are those principles that we have. We'll see one by one. Apex supports the below object-oriented programming principles which we need to follow while implementing the business logics. First one, encapsulation. Second one, abstraction. Third one, inheritance. Fourth one, polymorphism. So these are the four principles are available. We have encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and the polymorphism. Now, let me explain each and every feature one by one. First one, encapsulation. Now, tell me generally, what do you mean by encapsulating? Encapsulating in the sense combining, that means grouping or binding together. Now, so in this case, whenever we are writing some business logics as part of your application development, then whatever the related business logics that we have, don't make each business logic as independent, we can make them as a group. That group is called as a class. That's what I told you in yesterday's session. A class contains a collection of variables, procedures, functions, properties, constructors, all these things mixed together. So in this case, while implementing the business logics, whatever the related business logics are available, we can group them to a separate entity. Those entities are called as classes. Now, so now here in this case here, for example, come to a small scenario. For example, I have an object. In my object, we have 50 fields. Okay, I have created 50 custom fields in my object. Now tell me, all these 50 fields were representing within one section? No. Whatever the fields that we have, we're dividing to separate sections over here, like as basic details field into information section, compensation related fields into separate section, contact details fields into separate section, address information fields into separate section. Like that, we are segregating the fields to separate sections. Like the similar way, whatever the related business logics that we have, we can group together into the separate entities. Those entities are called as classes. So, encapsulation will allow us to group a set of related business logics together in the form of classes and interfaces. Okay, classes and interfaces. That means instead of making the business logics as separate entities, instead of making them as independent, we can make them as related. We can make them as a group, like as a library, like as a namespace, or like as a package, or like as a header file. So that whatever the related business logics that we have, we can make them as a group. So in this case, encapsulation can be achieved with the help of classes and interfaces. So with the help of classes and interfaces, we can achieve encapsulation feature. Okay, clear? Now make a note of this one. Encapsulation. It allows us to combine our binding or wrapping a group of related business logics into a single entity. Single entity. Now, encapsulation can be achieved with the help of classes and interfaces. Encapsulation can be achieved with the help of classes and interfaces. Then next, second one, abstraction. Now tell me, what do you mean by abstraction? What did you understood with this word abstraction? Hiding the data. Okay, right? How? Okay, right. Hmm. So whatever the data really needed for the people, just you can expose them. Remaining thing we can hide it. Okay. Now in this case, let's see. For example, I hope everybody has done with your graduation. So during your graduation or post graduation, the last semester time completely we are spending for a project. Now, the last 6 months or the 4 months of time, whatever the semester time that we have, we are spending on a project. So before start working on the project, first of all, we have to submit an abstract to the college people. We have to submit an abstract to the college people. Now tell me that abstract contains what? That abstract contains the basic details of the project which we are going to implement as part of the semester time. That means it will be having only high level information, not the complete details, because abstract will be having hardly 2 to 3 pages max, not more than that. So in that abstract, we are clearly going to describe the high level information of the project which we are going to implement. Like we are simply indicating our project title and the aim of the project, scope of the project, and the what exactly the problem, and then proposed solution, what modules you are going to implement, what technologies you are going to use, who will be your team members. That's it. Just we are indicating these basic details of the project, okay, inside that abstract. Now, so now in this case, we are giving the high level information here. We are not disclosing all the information. Like, so now what business logics we are going to write, what architecture we are going to follow, what tables we are going to use, what columns we are adding inside the table, what relations we are mapping between the table, what classes we have prepared, what logics we have written, what methods we have prepared, what screens we have designed. We are not disclosing all these things, just we are going to be exposing whatever they need. They should be aware of my project details. That's it. They no need to be aware of how we have implemented, what kind of problems I have faced, what kind of struggles I have faced. They no need to be aware of that. So what project I'm going to implement, okay, then just we are giving the high level information of the project to the people. So now here in this case, just we are exposing whatever it is required, remaining thing we are hiding from the people. Now, like for example, come to a small scenario. Now tell me, so do you know how to use WhatsApp? Yes. Okay, now. So now everybody know how to use WhatsApp because out of 24 hours, okay, maximum minimum 18 hours we are spending with WhatsApp only every day. Now we know how to use WhatsApp. We know how to add a contact, how to block the contact, how to delete the contact, how to modify the contact, how to create a group, how can we add the members to the group, how to send the message, how to receive the message, how to make a call, how to receive the call, everything we know. All the features we know how to use in WhatsApp. Now tell me, do you know which programming language they have used to build WhatsApp application? No, we don't know. Do you know what architecture they have followed? We don't know. Do you know what database they are using to store all our contacts in the conversation history? We don't know. Do you know what tables they are using to store this data? We don't know. Do you know what classes they have prepared? No. Do you know what methods they have prepared? We don't know. Do you know what logic they have implemented? We don't know. But we are using WhatsApp. That means what? We know how to use it, but we don't know okay how they have built. What is the behind the screen? That means behind that application, what architecture they have followed, what logics they have written. We no need to be aware of. As a customer, what is our responsibility? Just we have to use the application. That's it. We no need to aware of how they have implemented and then how much struggles they have faced, what kind of problems they have faced, how many members involved while developing the application. We no need to aware of. Just we have to use the feature. We have to enjoy the benefits of the features. That's it. So in that case, WhatsApp people are just they're exposing the user interfaces. Just they're providing the features to you how to use it, but they're not disclosing okay how they have implemented. Because if they're exposing how they have implemented, then other people also will follow the same architecture. So because of that, WhatsApp people will lose their credibility in the market here. So for that reason, something we are exposing, something we are hiding from the people. So in that case, whatever the business logic we are writing right now in the form of classes, then if from that class, some logic should be exposed, some logic should be hide, depends upon the business requirement. Because to make my code secured, for that reason, we are using the help of abstraction. So, upon writing the business logic, not only writing the business logic blindly, we have to make it secured. We have to protect that code. We have to make the restrict the visibility of that business logics also. So, for that reason, they have given a feature called as abstraction. So, abstraction is used to hide the required functionalities from the people. Whatever the features are required for them, just you can expose them. Provide only interface to the people, but don't provide any backend business logics. Now, now tell me here, we are using Salesforce application. Now we are using that how to create the records, how to manage the records, how to create relationship, everything by using mouse clicks. Now tell me, do we know how they have implemented each functionality? We don't know. We no need to be aware of that. Okay, so because they're not exposing all the functionalities, they're hiding something because that is very confidential. Okay, now make a note of this one. Abstraction. Abstraction provides the user interfaces to the people, but without providing the complexity of implementation. By using abstraction, we can achieve data hiding. can achieve data hiding. Done? Next. Inheritance. So now what exactly the inheritance, what it indicates? What do you mean by inheritance generally? Okay, right. Now, so generally, inheriting means what? Acquiring. That means accessing. Now, suppose for example, so now we have built a functionality very long back as part of our project. We have built the business logic, okay, as part of our project implementation, okay, in the past. Now we are doing some enhancements inside our project here. Based on the client requirement, we are building some enhancements. We are adding some new enhancements. Now, while adding some new enhancements, I need the business logic of the previous functionality. So previously, very long back, almost 8 months back, we have implemented some functionality. The similar kind of functionality is required in my new feature also. We are building some new feature. In that new feature, we need the business logic which were written in the past. Then what can I do? Do I need to copy and paste that same business logic in two places? No, we can't copy and paste that business logics because that already we know that Salesforce is going to be counting each and every character upon writing the code. Salesforce will count each and every character, including special characters, including spaces, everything. Salesforce will count within your entire organization. Within your entire organization, we can write maximum of 60 lakhs of characters code, not more than that. Not 60 lakhs lines or 60 lakhs characters. So within the entire organization, including all the applications inside your org, we can write maximum of 60 lakhs of characters code, which can be extendable in free developer edition. That will be fixed. More than 60 lakhs of characters code, we can't write. Now, that's what here, that means what Salesforce has, okay, restricted the development part here. Okay, whenever we are building any feature, then don't come to the development part directly. Even though you may be expert in programming, even though you are having vast experience on development, okay, even though you are having very good knowledge on programming, don't come to the development here. So Salesforce is restricting that. Boss, don't implement everything by using development. I have given so many configuration features to you, admin features to you. Use them. If that feature is not at all supporting, then only come to the development part. Okay, so that here development part is completely reduced by Salesforce. Now, as part of this free developer edition, we can write maximum of 60 lakhs as characters code. In unlimited edition, also we can write maximum 60 lakhs of character code. But in future, if you need some more characters, if you are reaching to 60 lakhs characters in unlimited edition, that means paid edition. If you want to build some more functionality, if you want to add some more modules, if you want to build some more applications, at that time we can extend the number of characters from 60 lakhs to 1 crore also. 1 crore to 1.5 crore also. Depends upon your requirement, we can extend by contacting your Salesforce administrator. In your project, in your team, there is a person who is acting as the administrator of your Salesforce org. We can contact the person, we can extend the number of characters limitation from 60 lakhs to 1 crore or 1.5 crore or 2 crores, depends upon the need we can extend. Okay, now. So now here in this case here, directly we can't implement all the functionalities through programming because client won't approve. Client won't approve. Because before working on the functionality, we have to get the approval of the client. So in that case, client won't approve. Why? Because the billing will be keep on different. Suppose if you're implementing a feature, okay, by using admin, then for the admin feature, okay, the company is charging $100 per hour. $100 per hour from the client. Suppose if you are implementing the feature by using development, then per each hour my company will be charging $160 per hour. So billing will be different from admin for features to development features here. So for development, more billing is available here so that the people don't want to waste their money here. For that reason, always client is always insisting to go with that admin part. Suppose if the admin feature is not at all supporting, then we can go for the development. But we have to give the proper justification to the client first. Then only client will approve that billing. Then we can implement the feature by using development here. Okay, clear now. So now here in this case here, so that whenever we are going to be implementing the features as part of your application development, if you need any of the existing features, then don't copy and paste that code because Salesforce is having the number of characters limitation, so that just you can able to reference them. Just you can reference that existing functionality. Just you can acquire the features of one class into another class, because in object oriented programming every business logic will be implementing in the form of classes. So one class business logic, one class functionalities we can access in another class, so that we can make that code more reusable. Don't make it as a duplicated. Don't implement redundant code. Make your code generic. Make your code only unique, and they use the same code in different places whenever you need, wherever you need, so that we can make our code more reusable with the help of inheritance feature. Okay, clear now. Make a note of this one. It allows us to acquire or access the features of one class into another, so that we can avoid the redundant code inside the application, and we can make the code generic. By using inheritance, we can achieve reusability. We can achieve reusability. By using inheritance, we can achieve reusability. Done? Next. The last one, polymorphism. So now what do you mean by this polymorphism? What it indicates? Having many forms of what? Many forms is okay, fine, right? Then now let me explain. So basically, polymorphism is not an English word. It's not an English word, it's a Greek word. Okay, it's a Greek word. So now which is the combination of two words. First one poly, second one morphism. Now, so poly means many. Morphism means forms. Okay, morphism means forms. Now, so now in this case, let's see what exactly the benefit of this polymorphism. Like for example, assume that I'm using a C programming language. You know, C programming is one of the structured oriented or procedure oriented programming, where each business logic should be implemented in the form of procedures and functions. Now, suppose for example, I want to prepare a procedure in C programming to perform the addition of two values. Then I'm preparing a procedure. Void, I'm giving the procedure name as add addition. I'm passing two numerical values here, like as integer some x, second one integer some y. Here we can write the business logic. Forget about this syntax. We'll see this syntax later here. We can write the business logic. Now, so now in this case, what this addition procedure will do? Now this addition procedure is going to be indicating that this procedure will take two integer values of type, okay, integer, and then it will perform the addition operation, will print the results. Now tell me, every time will you do the addition of only two values? No. Sometimes I will do the addition of three values, four values, five values, 10 values, 20 values. It's my requirement. Now, I want to perform the addition of three values. Then what we can do? For that one, I'm preparing one more procedure, like as void addition. Here I'm passing three integer values: integer x, integer y, integer z. I'm passing these three values over here. Here I'm writing the business logic. Now, I'm preparing one more procedure with the name addition with the three input parameters. But upon compiling the code, it won't accept. It will show the compilation error. This method cannot be acceptable because in C programming language or in structured oriented programming languages, each method should be recognized with the help of method name. Only the method name will be getting considered to recognize the uniqueness of the methods. We can't prepare two methods with the same name in C programming language. But I'm doing the same operation. So if I'm giving some different names for each and every method, then how can we recognize to perform the addition of four values? What is the method name? How can we remember? It will be very difficult to remember because we have very small chip in our mind, so we can't remember all this information. We can't store all this information. We can't recollect it. So this is the major problem that we have as part of your structured oriented or procedure oriented programming. So to avoid this kind of problems as part of Apex programming, in object oriented programming, they have given a feature called as polymorphism, which allows us to create multiple procedures also, multiple functions also with the same name. Many forms means multiple formats, multiple procedures we can create with the same name but with a different signature. Signature includes number of parameters, order of parameters, type of the parameters will be getting different over here. So based on the input value, based on the order of input values, based on type of input values, based on number of input values we have supplied, corresponding procedure will be getting executed. Suppose if I'm calling the addition procedure with the two input values, it will be executed automatically. If I'm calling the addition procedure with the three numerical values, it will execute this procedure over here. So depends upon the input values which we have supplied, the corresponding compatible procedure will be executed in Apex programming. That's what here Apex programming is purely supporting polymorphism feature. So we can able to use the same name. Name is one, but with the same name, multiple procedures also we can create within a single class. Like for example, assume that. So now I think you are observing so many photos in the internet. So those photos are morphic photos are also available. Okay. They're going to be doing some changes in the photos, like as body belongs to one person, face belongs to another person. Now, so now to make it look like as a real, nowadays the people are using artificial intelligence. By using the AI feature also, they would like to make that photo will be look like as a real picture here. Now, so before UI came into the market, whenever they're doing some morphic of the photos, then there are some changes will be available. We can recognize it's a original photo or it's a morphic photo. We can identify. But now, with the help of artificial intelligence, it is making that photo will be look like as a real photo over here. Now, so now in this case here also, that means the photo, the body will be belongs to one person and the face is belongs to some different person. Now they keep on changing the backgrounds also. Photo is same, they keep on changing the backgrounds over here. Now, like the similar way here also, we can use the name, same name to define the multiple functions with the different parameters, with a different number of parameters, order of parameters, type of the parameters. Okay. So for that reason, as part of polymorphism, polymorphism allows us to prepare multiple functions with the same name but with a different signature. Now, as part of this polymorphism, we have two types of polymorphism in Apex programming. First one, compile time polymorphism. Second one, runtime polymorphism. Compile time, runtime. This compile time polymorphism is also called as static binding. This is also called as early binding. Okay, early binding or static binding or compile time polymorphism all are same. The second one, runtime polymorphism. This is also called as dynamic binding. This is also called as a late binding here. Okay, late binding or dynamic binding or runtime polymorphism, both are same. Okay, clear? Now, let's see. Make a note of this one. All these features we'll see when moving forward one by one how to implement them. Now, polymorphism allows us to create the multiple functions within the class with the same name but with a different signature. The signature includes the number of parameters, order of parameters, and type of parameters. We have two types of polymorphism in Apex programming. First one, compile time polymorphism. This is also called as early binding. or static binding. Second one, runtime polymorphism. This is also called as late binding or dynamic binding. This compile time polymorphism can be implemented by using overloading feature. So we have two types of overloading. Excuse me. First one, method overloading. Second one, constructor overloading. Now, this runtime polymorphism, this will be implemented by using overriding feature. We have method overriding. We have method overriding. These are the four principles are available as part of object-oriented programming, which we used to follow upon implementing the business logics. Done with these points? Now, so these are the various principles that we have as part of object-oriented programming. It's 100% common question in most of the interviews. Could you please describe about object-oriented programming principles? Then we should be able to explain encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and the polymorphism. Okay, these are the four features are available. Okay, so upon writing the business logics in Apex programming, we have to follow these four principles so that we can make our code more secured, and then we can able to make the business logics more usable also over here. For that reason, to get all these benefits, we have to follow all these principles which has been introduced by object-oriented programming features. Okay, now. So by using these features, how can we prepare our own classes? How to prepare our own classes? What exactly the syntax of a class? How to define? How many ways are available in Salesforce to prepare an Apex class? And how to define the members inside the class? And what access specifiers are available for the class and its members? What are those access specifiers and everything we'll see in next session. In next session, we'll see the complete functionality, how to define the class. Okay, it will take minimum 1 to 1.5 hours, including the access specifiers also. So now on Monday session, we'll see how can we implement or how to define our own classes, how to rewrite the business logic inside the access specifiers, everything we'll see one by one. Okay, now. So on Monday, we are going to discuss about the practical concepts here, how to prepare our own classes. Okay, yesterday and today we have discussed about theoretical features of object oriented. From Monday onwards, we'll see the practical concepts. Okay, now this weekend we don't have the sessions here because our sessions will be Monday to Friday because I'm having lating sessions in the weekends. So don't have the sessions on Saturday and Sundays. We'll be having from Monday to Friday. If required, then I will take up one additional session also on Saturday, okay, at 9 o'clock. Because I would like to merge the two sessions so that we can have some combined sessions as well here. Okay. So this weekend we don't have the session. Next session will be on Monday again at same timings. Okay. Now, thank you.